likes me. Cause I'm a creep.
Samslade, what do you think of this new couch? It's so new and innovative.
Is this not our regular couch? I
Dude,
can't
just
tell
do a
unless I'm
flashback
sitting-
of all the different times we've seen the couch. Whoever edits, just flashback through all the different times you've seen the couch. We are streaming chaps.
So, you said that so sexually.
Kevin, why don't you introduce us to this new video? Because you introduced us to Creep.
That's true. So, once we decide to start doing a regular weekly series on Creep,
Yeah.
Bringing it back.
bringing it back.
Sure, we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, so I suggested Creep because it was something I kind of saw on a whim. I just saw it on Netflix and it was in my queue because I had heard some things about it. And actually, the guy who did the music for Nemesis told me about it. And he was
I was
like,
about to say, there's no music in Creep.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say the guy that did the music for Nemesis also did the music for Creep, and I would have believed you.
Yeah, because nobody did it. Because there's no music.
No one knows I'm here.
Hi!
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm assuming you're Aaron.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. Nice to meet you.
Joseph. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is gonna be a good day.
So the reason I've hired you is because I have terminal brain cancer, and I want you to film me to make a video diary for my unborn son.
You ready for this?
Here's the thing about a movie like that. Even if it's bad, it's only an hour long.
Yeah.
yeah, you're like, cool. So I took my chance.
It also
And,
stars Brian's favorite human being that's ever lived.
Oh, yeah.
Safety not guaranteed guy.
Mark Duplass.
Who Brian knows every little fun fact.
We found that out
about.
yesterday, that he just knows, he's seen everything.
All you have to do is mention his
he knows,
name.
He knows where he lives.
I didn't even have to say his name. I just said, oh, we watched Creep that has the guy from Safety Not Guaranteed in it. And Brian was like, oh, Mark DuPont or whatever his name is.
Mark Duplass.
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 And he's like, yeah, he's in this,
he's in this.
I've seen all those things 50 times.
He was in a porno when he was 18. I own that on DVD and VHS.
This is a lock of his hair.
Brian has probably sucked that guy's dick.
I know for a fact Brian has.
Joseph.
This is called an adventure. We don't know exactly where we're going, but I have a feeling. When you follow those feelings, great things can happen. Don't ever forget that.
Joseph?
I was just shocked completely by how much I loved it because I didn't know or expect anything from it at all. I didn't even know what it was about.
Most of the movie probably could have been shot in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like that movie took 20 minutes.
And really quick to edit.
Yes.
Because they very clearly only used one camera and only did a few takes. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll just, who cares, jump cuts, whatever. It's a
and
found footage.
there's a lot of long shots too.
For me going into it, I was very excited, as you probably could have seen at the end of the last movie of the week, at the idea of doing another indie 2015 horror movie
like,
that,
like
that
a
no
good amount of
one's
people
that
have
no
seen.
one's seen. Just show shots of Hidden while I'm saying this. And how many views we
How many
got.
views it has?
So I was excited because I was like,
Handmade.
even if whether we hate it or not, it's still gonna be like it's in our niche. So I was excited, but I don't think I didn't think too much about what the movie would be like. I didn't even know it was a mockumentary. You could have, or not mockumentary, but like
I didn't know
found
either going
footage.
into it.
Like you probably said something, but I completely forgot.
Well, you'd have to check the tapes because I remember I didn't say a whole lot. For Creep specifically.
I also remembered when the movie was starting, I was like, I'm pretty sure I ignored everything Kevin said. I think I was thinking about something else when he was talking about it.
That's
Well,
probably
I was
true.
thinking
It does the
something else.
Dirties thing where it's also like there's not as far as Dirties or even like as interesting as Dirties, but in the same way there's also like the aspect of he's a low budget filmmaker or he's a cameraman.
Yeah.
And so it has that just kind of like film angle to it a little bit, just slightly.
Yeah.
It's not as
Yeah,
bad.
slightly,
It's not as much as Dirties, where the
Well,
Dirties
he
is
owns
just
a video camera.
yes, or the Dirties is just a movie about making a movie. So Sam Slade, you liked it?
I did like it. It's enjoyable. It's short, which
Yep.
is great. Like I think if it was a super, like if it was like an hour and 40-minute movie, it might
it
like
definitely
diminish a lot.
It definitely would have overstayed its welcome.
Yeah, it knows its boundaries. Like the movie knew, like, okay, if we're here for another 20 minutes, we're gonna lose our audience. But the movie also does something that I really liked, and it really plays to its strengths, because not only does it not say it's welcome, it gets better as it goes. Like, I think the last act of the movie is the strongest, and it has, like, I was busting up laughing by the end of it. Oh, it's pretty much a comedy. At least I thought it was. Like, I did...
It's
like-
both. It depends on how you're thinking at the time.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to
Depending
even...
on the scene too.
It's hard for me to even think of it as just a horror like, I was cracking up. Like, even the parts that were, like, supposed to be scary, like, it was just hilarious. Like
it's like a creepy funny. Like
Yeah.
it's just like none of the scares or anything scary in it is like, oh, that's horrifying. There's nothing horrifying about it. It's just very, very creepy and unsettling.
And by the end of it,
but at the same time funny.
by the end of by the last scene, which got the biggest laugh out of me, literally the last shot, I was nearly on the floor. Or not the last shot, but like the last line of dialogue.
yeah.
I definitely liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Something that, because I didn't even think really about the whole comedy thing in terms of like that it was like defining it as a horror comedy, because it's a lot more subtle than any other horror comedy, because you see things like Evil Dead or Reanimator, things like that. It's kind of obvious, you know. It's like, you know, or even What We Do in the Shadows. They're vampires, so there's gonna be a scene where, you know, they bite someone and blood goes everywhere. Like, shoot, no, you know, it's very. You know, I mean, that's more subtle than most, but still, I mean, there are some obvious things that you expect from the genre. But because this doesn't necessarily fall into an exact part of the horror genre, it's just kind of about a creepy guy, and it's like this psychological thing, and it's meant to creep you out more than anything.
So going
That's
through the
really creepy.
going through the plot of it, it is about this for-hire cameraman. Like, that's what he does. He's just a freelance cameraman, and it starts off with a. And for a cameraman, he's a really shitty one. Like, he's not.
I'm pretty sure he just owns a camera.
Yeah, he just bought a VHS camera one day and put an ad on Craigslist saying, "I'm a cameraman now." And the film starts with him driving up into the mountains. Like, it shows you a shot of the mountains, and he's like holding the camera in the
film
passenger
some guy
seat.
on Craigslist.
Yeah, and so he sets up the plot where he's like, I'm gonna go drive, and like he's like, oh, maybe it's a hot chick who just wants me to fuck her and film it.
Like, that'd be sweet.
And then he gets there, and it turns out that it is the safety not guaranteed goober, Mark Dumont.
Brian, Mark Duplass, please.
I've said his name wrong
Have
every
you guys
time.
seen The One I Love with Mark Duplass?
No.
DuPont?
No. Still gotta see.
That was the first one I saw.
Mark DuPont.
And he's really good in that too.
Yeah, well, he's the best part in Safety Not Guaranteed. Like, he is easily my favorite part.
Yeah, well, he's the best part of a lot of things. He's a good actor.
Well, he's the best part of Brian's life.
Yeah.
He is.
I'm pretty sure Brian probably has a shrine in his room.
To anyone, like, if you
And
don't,
it's a picture he took of him while he was sleeping.
if you don't know Brian, the reason this was so funny is because Brian typically knows next to nothing about anyone. Like, Brian doesn't care really about he knows names probably.
Like, there's actors he likes, definitely.
Yeah, but like he's not like, oh, I'm gonna tell you every bit of information about this person. And Mark Duplass is just such a weird one.
And when he got brought up and we barely even knew his name, he was like, oh, you're talking about Mark Duplass.
But he goes out in the mountains, and he's told that Mark Duplass wants to film himself doing a video to his unborn son because he has brain cancer. And so, you know, the main character is just like, cool, that sounds fine. And it seems like an easy job. It's kind of weird at first because he's doing weird shit, like just taking his pants off.
He's like, I got brain cancer. It's pretty much, I'm gonna die in a few weeks, but I'm hopeful. And it's like, he's just really like weird.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna
He's
give you a
very
hug, Bill.
weird.
Let's hug it out.
Like
you're gonna be totally normal. It's gonna be normal by the end of the day. It's like, this is really weird that you're doing this.
And it very quickly gets not normal.
Oh yeah, the first thing they do when they start filming is Mark Duplass gets naked and gets in the bathtub, and he does a bathy time or whatever, a tubby time.
Yeah, he pretends to give a baby
a bath, and it's really uncomfortable. It's really weird, but I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, and then he
funny.
pretended to drown.
And then he pretends to drown himself.
He's like, why do I have to live? Like, I'm just gonna...
and so the movie does this thing where it likes to play with you in scenes like that, where as it progresses, it's obvious, like, you know where it's gonna go because it's called Creep, and there's really only 2 characters, so you're like, okay, Mark Duplass is gonna be a weirdo murderer.
Yeah, you go on IMDb, there are 2 actors listed on IMDb.
And so you kind of know where it's going, and they start kind of playing with it. Like
Mark
Duplass plays it really friendly. Like even the whole movie, he never breaks like this.
Yeah, he's super friendly.
Yeah, he never stops being friendly.
So yeah, without it, that's like the premise. I don't want to spoil anything because I do want people to see it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you're to that premise, go see it right now before we start talking about spoilers.
Yeah,
let's
finish up with non-spoilers because this is a movie I do want other people to see.
Yeah, and it's pretty recent. Honestly, for what it is, I really don't have any negative anything. You know, like it's 2 actors, so I can't be like, well, the acting of sucked. You know, like it's not supposed to be like that, and then it did everything it was trying to do well. You know, and. Yeah, definitely see it, and it's definitely a unique found footage movie because it's meant to be more like a documentary.
Yes. Well, it's edited more like a documentary, and
just when you think, you know, if this went on, I think it'd be boring, and then right when that happens, something interesting happens or creepy happens, you're like, oh, okay. It's paced pretty well.
Well, and the movie is really carried by Duplass. Like he, you know.
Oh yeah, he's a fascinating character.
He's really good.
It's also carried because of the fact, like you're saying, like it builds this sort of mystery, but they also throw a bunch of loops at you where you're like, all right, I mean, I know there's something wrong with this, but I'm not quite sure yet what it is because there's a lot of things that could be wrong with this.
It's kind of you'd
on your toes.
You'd be hard pressed to accurately guess what happens in the end. I mean, you probably could.
I found myself overthinking it a lot because they throw so much stuff at you that you're like, I think it has to do with this, but it's like, no, it has nothing to do with
that's what I'm saying is like the movie makes you like it's great. It plays with your expectations a lot. It makes you think certain things are happening or certain things like you think you know Mark Duplass, but you don't.
You also can't tell when something's a joke or not.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Which is brilliant.
Like if you're a fan like I am of like in a horror movie, like the best thing about a horror movie to me, like when it's scary or not, like is a creep factor. Like creepy horror movies are the best kind to me, like because that, like you said earlier before the video, like that just sticks with you.
It does.
Because even if you know what's gonna happen, somebody doing something in a creepy way, or some creepy scene, like The Shining is a perfect example. That movie's just all creepy.
So do we want to move into spoilers now?
Yeah, go see it.
Go
see
the movie. Definitely see it. It's on Netflix.
It'll only take an hour.
So anyway,
go see Lost City Raiders.
Spoilers. Don't
it's on
see
YouTube.
That. Don't see that. It is on YouTube though. Spoilers from here on out. In the very beginning, it's set up that Duplass has this werewolf mask, and
Jesus Christ.
What's the name of the werewolf mask again? It's like Toady or something. What is it called?
I don't remember.
What is it called? Shoot.
Fuck.
It's called like it's like a food, isn't it? It's a food.
It's like fuzzy or something like that. I thought it was fuzzy or something along those lines. Oh, man. Shit.
Skittles or something, dude. It's like
it is like Skittles or something like that. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm not.
Peach Fuzz.
Peach Fuzz. That we're both wrong.
Well,
I knew I was right. I was closer because I said it was like fuzzy.
But I said it was a food.
Oh, were you?
We're both. Sam said we just got to combine forces.
Yeah, we got to combine forces. Divide and conquer.
So it sets up that Peach Fuzz, this werewolf mask that Duplass has in his. He makes up a totally weird story about his dad using it.
That's the thing. That scene is the second time he brings up his dad, and I'm like, okay, something's up with his dad, and his dad does not matter in the end, like at all. Like none of it.
Like he just did it like as a common theme.
It's so weird. I love how Mark Duplass plays off everything in that movie, like everything. Like anything creepy or like weird that you see, he's just like, did you think I was gonna kill you with that axe? That's like, hilarious.
That's so funny.
He does kill you with that axe.
Like he's just so friendly. He's just like, were you thinking when you first?
Oh my god!
Real talk.
That's hilarious. He's like, I'd wait till nightfall.
The thing that makes you question whether or not you understand Duplass's character is the fact that he's the entire time he's trying to build a friendship with Aaron. So, and like that every time he like gets hurt if Aaron doesn't talk to him, or if like when Aaron wants to leave, he's not just like, oh, you should stay. He doesn't do like this typical like, no, really, you should stay. But he's like, you are my best friend.
It's like, oh, I was having a good time.
I really wanted you to stay. We were gonna cuddle. The first part that made me crack up was, about halfway through the movie, you start it starts to get a little darker. Aaron can't find his car keys.
Oh my god.
And then night comes, and Aaron's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave." And Mark Duplass is like, "Oh, just come in and have some whiskey with me." And so then they have whiskey. And then Mark Duplass is like, "Well, I'm gonna tell you the real story about Peach Fuzz. It had nothing to do with my dad. Well, my wife watches furry porn, and I raped her wearing that mask one night." And so Aaron secretly records that conversation, and it's super dark. That's not what made me laugh. So then Aaron...
It's really creepy, too.
It is,
like,
it's
oh
really
my God.
creepy.
It's very unsettling.
You're like...
Because you think you know where the story's going, and you're just like, I don't want to hear the rest of the story. I get it.
Oh, no,
I know what you're
you
thinking.
get it the minute he
Yeah.
says the porn thing. You're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And then after that, Aaron tries drugging him. He puts Benadryl in alcohol so that he can put him to sleep, and it works for a bit. And then his phone rings, and Mark Duplass wakes up, and
he answers the phone. And he's like, "Oh, it's his sister."
And then Aaron when he
no, it's his wife or whatever.
it's his wife, and it ends up being his sister.
being his sister. She's like, "What do you do? What? Get the fuck! What is
Leave,
going on?
leave."
Leave!"
She was more annoyed that,
I-
like, for what it ended up being, for him being a murderer and all that. She was like, ugh, he's always doing this. Just you gotta leave. Like, seriously, get away from him. He's gonna murder
Well,
you.
it makes you wonder how much she really knows.
Aaron goes outside, and he's trying, like, after he talks with the sister, who's just like, "Get out of the house. You don't even need your car keys."
Which also means that story wasn't true.
Yes.
That really awkward, horrible story that made you feel uncomfortable.
thought of it
Well, no,
himself.
that's the
Was
thing that
definitely not true.
that one of the things that really creeped me out is what if it was true and it was his sister,
Oh god. Oh my god.
right?
Like
You don't know.
You don't know what's
You don't
true
know.
about it.
You don't know when he's telling the truth. Like,
Yeah.
even to the end of the movie, you don't really you're never filled in on what he's being honest about. But the part that made me laugh is Aaron tries to just walk out the house, and then Mark Duplass, he's like, "Are you trying to leave?" And Aaron's like, "Yeah, I know everything." And he's like, I'm so broken by you trying to leave. It makes me so sad that you're trying to leave. And then Aaron's like, "No, I know everything." And then Mark Duplass just runs. He's like, "Oop," and then he tries running away. And then Aaron's like, I'm just going to follow him. And he follows him. And you just see him at the end of a hallway with his arms and legs spread out. And he's wearing the werewolf mask.
It's just blocking the door.
Which is funny because it starts off really fun. You're like, and then like he's wearing the mask.
And then he starts
He's not
growling.
saying anything.
He's like,
yeah, he doesn't say anything for the rest of that scene, and you're just like,
and it's just a really agonizingly long shot. And you're like,
and he's just like sliding
Oh
up
my
against the
God.
wall. And
I would say from that
oh,
point
man.
on, I wasn't laughing too much before that. There were like the
I
odd
thought the
bits that
movie
were
would be
funny.
over at that very moment. I'm like, this is it.
But from that point
He never
on,
saw what was in the bags. He just started burying
the
bags.
movie just gets funnier and funnier. Like, there's a scene where Mark Duplass sends Aaron a gift box with a stuffed wolf in it, with a heart necklace in it with pictures of both of them,
Oh yeah, it's
and a DVD
super
where he
weird.
spills his guts, like he talks about his feelings.
yeah.
He's like, it's just.
It's just he plays it so well. He's just such a genuine like way too nice guy. Like,
Yes.
Like
Yeah, he's
like,
very
listen,
genuine about it.
he one thing, this isn't like even like an issue, but something I thought about where I was like, he really should have checked his footage more often. Like he would have saw him twice.
Yes.
He would have saw him take his hair, and he would have saw him in his front yard.
About 3/4 of the way through the movie, it makes you think that what's going to happen is Mark Duplass is trying to train Aaron to be a serial killer with him. Like, that's
Yeah.
where you think it's going, because he gives him a knife and he's like, "Use
I want
this
you
knife."
to embrace
Your inner wolf.
your inner wolf.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I'm just like, is he just like he doesn't know how to express his feelings for
Yeah.
someone, and he's like either super gay for him or he just likes him as a lot as a person, wants to be his friend. Like, I don't. Is he gonna kill him? Like, what is this? You know, like,
Yeah,
this is
what
definitely
is
not
this?
okay. But what is it? What's not okay?
The movie ends with Aaron getting a third video from Mark Duplass, and it's a video just saying, "Hey, all right, we'll meet at this lake that we met at in the beginning of the movie, or that we went to in the beginning of the movie. It was a bonding experience, and it's a public place. You know, don't worry about
doesn't
it."
matter. Like, I'm not gonna kill you.
Broad
'cause-
daylight.
And then
Broad daylight.
and Aaron goes there, and he sits on a bench, and he leaves his camera in his car,
Hooked
and
up, like,
there's
hooked
just
up
a
to his phone
long
to call 911.
Yeah.
if the camera should-
there's just a
Camera's
long
left
shot
unattended.
where Aaron's sitting on this park bench looking out at the lake, and then from behind him, Mark Duplass comes up, puts the wolf
And it's a
mask
really
on.
extreme wide shot. Like,
Yes.
they were really far
Yeah,
out in the
he's,
distance.
yeah, he's off to the side of the screen, and they just drop something like, what did he drop? I didn't see. He puts on a mask, like, uh-oh. Then he picks up, like, oh, it's the axe. Yeah,
Even up until that
like,
point, I just thought I thought that there was still the possibility that Mark Duplass would just be like, "Gotcha! I did
gotcha,
was scaring
gotcha.
you. Did you think I was gonna kill you?"
Yeah,
things like
and,
happen all the
and then he
time.
just buries that axe in his
Yeah, right in
fucking
his head.
What's gonna
It
happen?
cuts to Mark Duplass in an editing room or in a dark room where he's editing, and he's watching over that footage, and he says one of my favorite lines ever written, and he's just like, "Aaron, to this day I thought it was smart of you."
And he's like rewatching it.
Yeah,
you
he's
can tell.
replaying it. He's like,
Yeah,
Aaron,
it-
I
that-
think it was smart of you to have brought your camera. I think it was smart of you to have had 911 on speed dial. But to this day, it was puzzling me why you didn't look back. Why did you just not turn around? And now I know.
I just thought that was just ridiculous. That's just you know?
You, up until the
like,
very
despite-
end, you did not believe that I would do any harm to you.
And that's why you are the best person who's ever lived. And he's got like a tear in his eye. Just like
He means it.
he puts a heart on his DVD.
Yeah, and then the last shot, or the last sequence of shots, reveals that he has a cupboard full of videos and,
And VHS.
implying
And he's
that
calling someone else like, "Hey, I need you to come record something
Yeah,
for me."
so it's implying that he's been doing this for years, and he
And he
does it like
plans on
every
doing it
weekend.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he loves this one.
So all in all,
Yeah,
This one was true love.
yeah, this was the most special one. All in all, I
cool.
think it's a really fun, low budget horror comedy. I mean, I wouldn't say go into it expecting like the funniest thing ever. I don't.
No, it's just a good movie.
I
you know?
think if you don't have like our sense of humor, you might not find it as funny as I did. But I found it hilarious.
It'll definitely creep you out for sure.
The performances are really good.
It earns that title.
Go see Creep.
So Sam Slade, what are your recommendations?
My
for next week?
recommendations for next week are Day of the Dead, Fateful Findings, which I've seen the first 30 minutes of. Fateful Findings. It stars this guy. He is basically the new Tommy Wiseau, and then the last one is called.
not
This
Day
is
of the Dead.
this is the niche horror movie that some people might have seen, but went under the radar. Will get us views.
Yeah.
Casted answer is a movie called The Black Coat Daughter. It's on Amazon Prime.
So my vote's gonna go for new Tommy Wiseau guy movie.
So what's that one called?
Real quick announcement, everybody. From here on out, all of the Movie of the Weeks going forward will be available as a podcast that you can find either on iTunes or as a direct download. Both of those links will be in the description. If you're interested in just hearing all of our thoughts completely unedited without any of the silly jokes that I throw in editing, that's all it. It's unedited. It's just us. And it's an audio file. So if that's something you're interested in, go check it out. It's pretty cool. I like it. The first episode is already up, and that's this video, which I guess you probably wouldn't watch because you just watched this video. It's not like you really need to hear it again. But for the next one, it will be available, so subscribe to the podcast so you can get the next Movie of the Week early, because I also upload it about 3 days before the actual episode will go up. So you get it early, you get it on an audio file. That's how I'd listen to it if I watched our own videos. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. See you all next week. Please subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, hit a like, comment,